finish in the third round for Summer Only.
1-0, baby. Let's go.
Head kick from Mass Oliver. Switch to the left head kick. Amazing finish from Mass Oliver. Incredible head kick out of nowhere.
I am blown away. I am absolutely blown away.
What's up, everybody? Alex Richings here, post-fight at Full Contact Contender 42, still here in the Olympia in Liverpool as we're packing down the show after another fantastic card here. So many top talents, so many fights delivered, Jason. Why don't we start with the main event? Marlon Jones, the hometown hero, was undefeated, stays undefeated, a 40-second knockout.
Yeah, I mean, that was supposed to be this incredible back and forth war. It was supposed to be Omid with his incredible striking that's really come along. You saw it in the last fight with the Ian Postlethwaite knockout. This guy is vicious, vicious, vicious on the feet and has incredible wrestling. You have the BJJ for Marlon Jones. You thought you'd see a real war on both of those fronts. We saw neither. What we saw was Marlon Jones asserting why he was the main event, why he's been so hyped, why there was a massive crowd. It was a truly special moment with a breathtaking knockout that, I mean, I don't know, we've seen so many good things here at FCC that we've been so happy about, but that was like, I don't know, dude, that was something truly special. That's a lifelong memory that we all got to witness here. I hope you all did at home. What a phenomenal fight. Incredible, incredible.
I would totally agree. A lifelong memory, that's a great way to put it. And man, did he show up. Like, so much support in the building. Obviously, he had all the kids that he trained, but there was just people from all over Liverpool, because this guy really is a homegrown star. Everything that, you know, you would want from a future star, he kind of just delivered on tonight. Plus a 40-second knockout against a guy that we were both really hyped on. Like, perhaps like the best opponent we could get this guy, you know, and he just knocks him out. And then what does he do? He comes up to us, gives us one of those, like, oh, all right, Marlon, fine, just knock the guy out, no problem. It was incredible, though, absolutely incredible. And he wants a title fight as well, so I'm sure that's what he's going to get next.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, just absolutely blown away. And a fun little anecdote to throw in there. At the end, they put us on camera on Fight Pass, and they were like, do a quick recap. The fans went so crazy that they literally could not do it. We were inaudible on broadcast, and they were like, just wrap it up, just wrap it up. It was so crazy, truly special moment. So blown away, at a loss for words, man. Incredible.
Talk about something special. We saw something special in the co-main event as well. Summer Only, like, every performance from her has been fantastic. Almost sometimes a bit not too easy, but just, you know, really just clinical, not much resistance from the opponent. Then lo and behold, Urkow on short notice shows up. We know a little bit about her, but she's 19. There were some questions, you know, especially in terms of, you know, how much she's really trained or what she could bring to the table against someone like Summer, who's got a very clear goal. She wants to go to the UFC. Urkow showed tonight she is absolutely, she could get there herself. Oh my God, like, you want to talk about the fighter spirit? Like Dana White, you know, are you a fighter? This girl is a fighter. Her reaction to getting hit was like, I'm gonna throw back, I'm gonna keep moving forward, I'm gonna take you out. I thought she looked like a young Vanderlei Silva in there, just non-stop pressure. I was so impressed by both girls, but definitely Summer for also getting the finish as well, Jason.
Yeah, and one thing we like to do on these shows is give out some of these award honors, and without a doubt, that was Fight of the Night. There is no question about it. And speaking of which, the fight before it, what we just talked about with the main event, Marlon Jones, I do think that was the knockout of the night, without a doubt, with all the pressure, the main event, how quickly he did it. So quickly have to make a shout out to that. But yeah, it was what we've seen from Summer Only's career is, so far as a pro, she's been able to bully everybody. They have not been able to really adequately push back, and so you saw Urkow step in, and it was the first person to kind of say, you know what, yeah, whatever, you might have had these fights, you might be this type of person that can come in here and bully everybody, but you're not going to do that to me. And Urkow did that every step of the way. In fact, she took it to Summer Only, and that was her best success, was against the cage. These wild hooks. You had the Vanderlei Silva comparison. That's Vanderlei Silva in a nutshell. She went after it like an axe murderer. But it was the ground game, and it was the sniping on the feet that really made the difference from Summer Only. A true level prospect. I mean, if it's not a title, it's a #1 contender shot that's next. She's 3-0, and she looks like a phenom.
And speaking of someone else who I think leveled up tonight as well, I mean, Jordan Rutherford. What a performance from that man. I mean, he literally did the impossible and amateur, won 5 titles in 1 year, and we were like, wow, that's crazy. Like, how has this guy done this? Let's see him go pro. And so far, his pro career has been just as impressive. I mean, we knew that Mehdi Koray was going to be a tough challenge, stylistically as well. A strong, powerful wrestler that could take his base away and really take him to areas of the fight that he would have to, fight in new ways. We don't see him getting taken down that much. But Rutherford, man, weathered the storm, found ways to win the fight when he was losing. Like, when he got taken down, he was still active, he was still dropping elbows. And we noted on commentary, anytime Koray actually decided, okay, I want to pass, I want to advance position, Jordan was able to scramble out, create opportunities for himself, get back to the feet. But the icing on the cake, Jason, is that he had that tucked away in his back pocket, the right hand. The KO was phenomenal. I kind of was thinking it to myself the whole time, like, he's not thrown that power shot yet, and we've seen him knock people out with those kind of shots. The rest of the fight is always patience, teeps, jabs, until he knows it's time to go. And he just pulls the right hand out of his back pocket, hadn't even thrown it. Now's the time, puts his lights out in the third round. The whole place exploded, Jason.
Yeah, I'm so happy, dude. I'm so happy. I'm struggling not to curse right now for good reasons, right? I mean, it's one of those things that you see this guy's career, you see him on the come up. He's somebody that started MMA a little bit later, but he is, my God, is he made up for lost time in a real impactful way. He did it as an amateur, the 5 titles in a year span, which is just unbelievable. But he went from that striker pretty much on the outset to this ground technician that's able to do everything. But I'm really glad we got to see a little bit of those roots come back, that incredible knockout. And I agree with you. I think he was winning the fight on those ground exchanges. The beautiful thing about MMA and the rule set these days, damage matters over everything. He did that throughout the entire fight. And he made Mehdi, in even his best position, second guess himself. He was just kind of like, what do I do? I can't posture up because I'm getting elbowed. I can't switch, from half guard to anything else. I can't switch from full guard to half guard because then he pops back up to the feet. He absolutely left Mehdi Koray puzzled. Truly high-level guy from Renegade MMA, but you wouldn't have known it because Jordan Rutherford just looked that good tonight. Incredible. I'm so happy to have seen that in person.
Yeah, I think everyone who was here tonight was super happy to watch any of these fights. I mean, there was a lot of drama. Something else we've got to talk about, we had our 2 former bantamweight champions, or 2 former amateur champions. They went head-to-head in Matt Urkow and Brennan Gate. Brennan Gate showing up, representing Welsh MMA. We've seen him deal with a lot of grapplers in the past. It's been something he's had to, overcome, but we saw from him great skills off his back. Really hunted the submissions, but at the same time, we saw Urkow bring that physicality, that power, and try and control the fight. It was a very back and forth contest. Very surprising that both guys took that fight. Honestly, I don't want to say the best case scenario, but it was a tough contest for both guys. Urkow picks up the win and goes to 2-1. Gate 0-1 in his pro debut, but Urkow really needed a win there to keep momentum going.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a bit of a controversial one. I think we should embrace the controversy and talk about what really happened there. At the end of the day, I do think that Urkow did what he needed to win, and I think he did everything right. So all respect to Mateusz Urkow. I think more of my questions go towards the ref, Paul Crosley. I wonder why it wasn't stood up, and I would love to chat to him about it and get to know more of his perspective. He's the professional. We're just doing commentary. We don't pretend to be officiators, but it was an interesting one. But credit to Urkow because he did everything right. That's exactly what he should have done. Take it down, get the control over a crazy, fun, wild striker. He did the right thing. Credit to him, credit to Gate. They both should hold their heads up high, and Urkow got the win for good reason because he did what his team told him to do. Great job executing the game plan.
Yeah, someone else who we were very excited to see, make the pro debut after such an amateur career that was international as well. You saw him in your hometown compete in America, which guys from the UK do not go to America to take amateur fights very often, but Alex Holm is that crazy and is that confident in himself. He made his pro debut tonight, and it was a very tough fight. Alex was really throwing the kitchen sink at him. Thomas Sunderham obviously stayed in there. We thought it was probably going to go to a decision, but Holm got the finish, which we were so impressed by, with submission as well, which, we don't always see from him, but it shows a well-rounded side of his game, and just that he's got a finishing ability wherever the fight goes.
Yeah, I mean, he's a born showman. I mean, this guy was born to do this. He's a second-generation guy. His father, Simon Holm, also fought on FCC cards, and The confidence comes from a very well-founded place, a lot of history, a lot of experience imparted from his father and his father's team, and all their, past experience all put into this guy. And he shows it, man. I mean, he deserves the spotlight because he takes it. I mean, he grabs it, he pulls it, he earns it for himself. That brashness, that cockiness was backed up as well, taunting him inside the cage. Fantastic performance for that man. And he got the finish as well, so he got that nice little exclamation mark to put on it. He was dominating on the feet and finally got the submission on the ground. What a performance from Alex Holm.
He's a flyweight as well. The UFC, man, they got to have their eye on this kid. Like, he loves to fight, he loves to entertain. Someone else we have to talk about, Josh Carrick. I mean, this guy's been hyped to the nines. I mean, obviously you don't get that many heavyweight contenders. Not only is a heavyweight contender, but he's training with the right people. He's training with guys like Daz Morris, Tom Aspinall. They're doing the murder rounds in their shed, just going through the works. And he comes out there, he has a bit of an unknown in an opponent in De Silva, a Brazilian flowing over, who we knew was a BJJ credentialed. He won the Grand Slam. Man, that first 2 minutes, that was an intense fight. De Silva was staying in there. He was getting aggressive. He was being rough with Carrick. But Carrick found the home, and I love the finish. He threw like 2 fakes, and then the 1-2, and then finished with the 2. It was just really flowy. And, you see him react to the finish. He really didn't have much to say, maybe one word, but cerebrally there, Josh, you've executed a beautiful combination with a hell of a heavy hand to finish it. So I was super impressed by Carrick, as was everyone, I think, who watched that.
Yeah, you got to see every part of that man in there. You got to see the knockout, but you also got to see the humor, like the Taylor Swift joke in there inside. It's just... The guy had the entire crowd eating out of the palm of his hand. He is a star. I mean, there's so many stars on here. We've been talking about him all night. Phenomenal performance from him. You couldn't really ask for anything more. ASW, Aspinall, BJJ, they've all been kind of working together. He's kind of a homegrown kind of skill here inside the UK, and he showed out in a big, big way. Made a real statement and made it look easy, to be quite frank with you. Yeah, really great.
Yeah, the celebration was iconic, as well a lot of celebrations tonight, man. I mean, people had a lot to celebrate. Aspire Combat Sports Academy had a lot to celebrate. They went 3-0 tonight with Ethan Kane as well on the early prelims. We've got to give him a shout out. The fight that opened up the main card as well, we saw the long-awaited pro debut of Charlie Barmer, someone who has had ups and downs as an amateur, but everyone always knew this guy is skilled. This guy's a dog. He doesn't give up. He works really hard. He trains around the world. He's going with KC Fight Base. He's one of those original 3 guys, and he made good on the pro debut. Some of the scrambles I thought were very entertaining. It really showed how he is as a fighter. He can be in a dominant position, people reverse him, but he never quits that scramble. You really have to just scramble against Charlie Barmer, because he will chase you down. There wasn't a lot of damage perhaps at times as well. I know you had some things to say about that, but just in terms of executing the pro debut, I thought Barmer did a good job staying in the fight, and also, it wasn't an easy win. He had to work hard, so I was impressed by the fact that he stayed in there and showed that that's part of who he is as a fighter.
Great contest. Great win for Hotak. The difference was the damage from Hotak. I think he made it a real struggle on the feet. He made it a real struggle on the grounds. And then he won some of those exchanges. And, it's a difficult one to say, though. It was an incredibly competitive contest. Could have gone either way on somebody else's scorecard for sure.
So on the amateur card, the main event, we had the bantamweight title, the interim bantamweight title on the line. Obviously, everyone has been blown away by what Tom Harvey's been able to do, but he wasn't able to defend the belt. So Reece Parr needed a new opponent. Owen Masoliver, the number 1 guy from the UK and Ireland, stepped up, said, yes, please, give me this fight. I've got a bunch of titles. I want another one. We've seen Reece Parr just lock up with guys, and then it's like, oh, this fight's probably over. Like, this guy is that skilled. But what we saw from Owen Masoliver was patience, which we always see, good distance management, which we always see, and a finishing instinct. The southpaw switch to land that head kick, and then also follow up the ground and pound, end the fight definitively, and really stick a pin on that number 1 spot. And also the interim title, we've got Pablo versus El Chapo, which I love, which is going to be the bantamweight fight at amateur. I mean, so exciting, Jason.
I'd like to say, let there be no doubt on who the number 1 guys in the UK and Ireland, but of course, Tom Harvey was here tonight. Yeah. I got a chance to talk to him. He's really looking forward to that fight. He had an injury which left him out of this one, so we get to see that clash. I think we're all really looking forward to it, and that's what's next. But incredible performance from Owen Masvidal. He is outstanding, and yeah, he definitely did affirm that #1 status without a doubt. Yeah.
Welterweight titles on the line tonight, up for grabs as well. We thought it would be a tough contest. We had someone returning in Jack McLeod, who we've not seen in FCC very recently, but when he was here before, he had some really, really good performances. He's actually gone up a weight class as well now to welterweight, and he's been looking really good. He came back to lay claim to the title, but Zach Fagan was standing in his way, who, again, from the Aspinall BJJ team, someone who everyone from that team had big things to say for, someone who's been training jiu-jitsu since he was 12 years old with Tom Aspinall and the team. And the fight, you know, it was over very quickly. It was a dominant performance from McLeod. He pushed him to the fence, used his physicality and copped that Dagestani handcuff, like he said, trapped that arm, and it was just too many shots that the ref had to call a stop to the action in the first round. I think some people were surprised, but man, McLeod just looking really strong, really physical for this weight class.
Habib McLeod, as he called it on his post-fight interview there. He did everything right there. He looked outstanding, and now it looks like he's going to be turning pro. So that's a big win. That's a huge scalp to get under your mantle there to show that, yeah, I can take out these big prospects. He's done it in multiple weight classes now, and here he is looking at turning pro. He's got multiple belts. Well done to Jack McLeod.
Before that, though, we had something that some people were calling the fight of the night. It did go to a draw. It was for the featherweight amateur title. Lewis Lever took on Mickey Leitner in what was a really drama-filled fight. Lever came out strong, was throwing Mickey around, but Leitner's a real gamer, man. He understands. I got 5 rounds. He spoke to me before and said, I'm going to definitely play on the cardio. I know that's a factor. I'm going to try and pick him off at range. And, you know, when Leitner got his dominant grappling positions in the 4th and 5th round, those were some 10-8 rounds. You know, up until that point, Lever had looked great. Lever had looked strong, physical, great in the clinch, good throws, good striking, punishing Leitner. But Leitner never quits, showed why. It was a draw. I don't know, did you agree with the decision?
You know, I think it's a perfectly reasonable scorecard. I don't really have any problems with it. It really just comes down to those last 2 rounds for Mickey. I got a chance to speak to both of them. Mickey was extremely impressed with Lewis Lever after that fight. I got a chance to talk to Lewis Lever as well, and he was more reflective. He felt, you know, maybe he'd won, but at the end of it, he knew that maybe he'd kind of lost the long battle. But his family was beaming. I got to speak to his father. I got to speak to his mother. They were so proud. They were losing their minds, as they should be. The kid's only 19. The kid's just getting started. This is one of his first major title fights, and we'd seen Mickey a bunch of times in title fights, including the last fight that Mickey was in here for FCC. That guy is used to these 5-round wars, and I think that's the experience edge. You know, I mean, yeah, Lewis was throwing everything into those takedowns, and maybe over time that started to sap him a little bit. So credit to Mickey. Mickey proved from the Durkin fight, he definitely did that to show that, hey, maybe that fight shouldn't have been stopped. He's really made a case for that. I do think, personally, what they should do is they should have that rematch between Durkin and Mickey, because they have unfinished business, and the winner fight Lewis Lever. That's my personal take on that. Incredible fight, incredible performance from both men. They should both hang their head up. Again, Lewis is only 19. Mickey is still extremely young. Great prospects, great performance, great fight.
Great fight, and I know they both were quite complimentary. I mean, I even heard Leitner say, like, no one's ever, you know, thrown me around like that before. You know, Lever was really very physical in those early rounds. One more fight we've got to talk about before we break. More history was made tonight. For the first time ever, FCC Strawweight title went up for grabs. Anna Shukman took on Amy Scully. Amy Scully coming in from Ireland again, #1 in the UK and Ireland, and showed it tonight. Shukman has looked very, very good, but she did kind of get overwhelmed towards the end of that round. You know, Scully got a dominant position, something I've never seen before, able to trap her arm behind her back, just using her chest. She had her hands free. You could see in the face of Shukman after the TKO finish that, you know, she was very upset, but it was a difficult position to be caught in. Once she got out of it, Scully was in that dominant spot. She wasn't going to stop. She's an absolute animal. You know, if you ever watch a Scully fight, she has one gear, which is like just full speed every time. And she stayed in that gear, and she got the finish over Shukman and got the title. Adds another one to her trophy cabinet. I mean, absolutely phenomenal performance.
Yeah, if you want to talk about the main card, one of those big overarching storylines was what Aspire did with 2 breathtaking knockouts. Well, what you saw in the amateur card, particularly with the title fights, is you saw Ireland go 2-0. Amy Scully, like we said, she can get in your face and kind of bring that dogfight to you, but she really is very technical, like you said, with the arm being trapped behind Anna Schuchman, but also just the relentless submission attempts immediately with the guillotine on the feet. I mean, all kinds of pressure that she put towards Anna. She took advantage of the inexperience relative to Amy's, especially within title fights. Looked phenomenal. I'm so glad that she came over. I hope we get to see her in here again because she is a real talent. She's a real fighter, a fighter's fighter. Incredible to watch.
Well, thank you very much for joining us for Full Contact Contender 42. If you didn't catch the whole event, it will be up on UFC Fight Pass, of course. If you're not a member on the YouTube, the Full Contact Contender YouTube, definitely sign up for membership there. You get access to all the amateur fights as well as a bunch of exclusive interviews, behind the scenes stuff. So definitely join us over there as well. The Olympia is about ready to say goodbye. The cage has been put away, but we will be back with FCC 43 coming up. Stay tuned on all the socials there to get the latest information, all the updates from FCC, who's fighting, who's going to be defending those titles. From myself, Alex Richings, Jason Hartley, we will see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching Full Contact Contender.